today is we don't want to offend anybody. That's a big problem because children have all learned through in the last couple generations that we got to be politically correct. That's where it all came from. We can't say anything in front of our kids. We don't want them to hear that. That's wrong. You should say it in front of your kids. You do want them to hear it. You want them to hear the truth, not what that guy over there in Washington's telling them, because he's not telling them the truth. And that's why they're winning, because they're not afraid to speak up. The people, the silent majority out here, the people, we don't want to offend anybody.
But guess what? Your first shot got fired. And thank God it was Arizona. It was called 10-7.
Yes, sir.
And you know what? It's growing.
Yeah. Virginia.
22.
That's exactly what we got. Michigan. Wisconsin coming on board, folks. And you know what? When you look at the Rasmussen poll of California, and it's not a small sampling, it's a huge sampling. 54% of Californians agree with you.
Thank God.
And just barely 30% disagree. I got my victory. Let's go. Guess what? That's our first step. That's our first step, and don't let it go.
That's my point about this voting, getting out to talk to your precincts and stuff. Don't be afraid to talk to people and say what you have to say, because there's people out there, they might be Democrat, Independent, but they're open to suggestions this year. This is a whole different year.
This is a
whole different ball.
You're exactly right. This is about people, folks.
Absolutely.
It's about people. And it's about time we got back to people. And you know what? There's a Nelson Mandela quote. And I hope you go back and find it. I'm not great at quotes. But it says, "Who are you not to let your light shine? Because your light empowers those around you to shine. And therefore your light shines greatest." You know what? Those blue-collar guys, here's your sign. There's your sign. You know what? Our forefathers gave an awful lot. It's not about taking anymore. It's about giving back. Be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And it will take each one of us. And by the way, most people will wonder why I wear a pin that says Gosar with shovels on it. I want to explain that to you. I'm a common guy. I love gardening. And when a common man or woman is surrounded by a pile of crap, last time I looked, that's what we were in, right? The only way you get out of that pile of crap is by one shovel at a time. And each one of you has to pick up your shovel and dig yourself out. It's about personal accountability and personal responsibility. There's my 2 shovels. I need to see you start digging.
Yeah, but you got backwards.
I guess maybe I have a bigger pile of crap. Yes, Dave.
Do you support a constitutional amendment that defines marriage between one man and one woman?
I do.
You would.
I do. How I stand on the social issues. I'm actually the one, the pro-life, that called out the president, was picked up nationwide, calling out the executive order as a fraud by the president. And I made sure that went out before Bart Stupak signed off, because he already knew. The lawyers that were ahead of the amicus brief and based upon the Hyde Amendment hand-delivered those to the Blue Dog Democrats, saying that this order would be erroneous. They were condoning government-funded abortions. I have that for you if you would ever like to see it. The gentleman who wrote that is eloquent. So I called out the president saying that, you know, that's an erroneous use of executive order. So I'm pro-life all the way through. I will also tell you this: Ann goes to my church. Ann has not talked to Father Pat. She has blown him off several times in addressing this issue. Ann is Emily's List, which is on-demand abortion, government funding, and physicians don't have a say in it. And by the way, that's where Ann got most of her money. Once again, education empowers you. Okay, when I was asked to run, I'm not a wealthy guy. I'm going to tell you that right now. Don't have lots of money. I thought, oh my God, another thing. I had to go back to her PAC reports, folks. Go back to 2008 and see where she got her money. From the labor unions and Emily's List. You know what? People will ask me, Dr. Gosar, you've outraised everybody, but your money comes from out of state. My money comes from dentists and people like you. Dentists have never advocated on behalf of themselves. They've advocated on behalf of you. And I've asked them for an investment in you. What a better way to go. I take my dentist any day. I'm proud to be a dentist. Find out about that. I saw somebody back here. Yes?
Your thoughts on Afghanistan?
I first will qualify this. I've never been in the military. I don't understand a lot about that. However, you can't tell me that this is not an important region of the world right now, especially when you have a country like Iran. We're going to have some problems. Now, I don't know all the facts about how you fight fire with fire, or putting a big ground unit there. I do know that small groups can defeat a big army. Your founding fathers did exactly that. That's how they beat the British. So we have to listen, but we must hold those with expertise to the fire. I would have to look at it if my child, or my son, or my daughter were going over there, and what are the rationales why. I will warn you. You tell me, with this administration, and what's happening in Iran, something's not coming. That Israel's going to sit back and take it. I don't think so.
And we shouldn't expect them to either.
I don't think he should either, I agree.
One good kick in the ass deserves another.
I've got my boots on. And I will tell you a funny story about the boots. Down here at the state legislature, we were pushing a bill, and I had some boots. Actually, I got married in those boots. And I walked down there because they were my only dress boots I had, or shoes I had. And a friend, a legislator, looked at my boots and goes, "Wow, those are some boots," because they were backside toe. Okay. Anyway, I said, "You know, Senator, there's a misnomer about boots. They got a pointy little toe. Most people believe those are to kill spiders and insects in the corners." And I did this. I said they're to be planted between two cheeks on a legislator who doesn't see my I got his attention. He forever remembers the boots. But I don't have a good answer because I'm not gifted with all the information. But I would expect all the information, and I would be keenly interested in all that information.
And I'd like some information. My grandson right now is in United Arab Emirates. He's in the Air Force. I have one grandson who's been shot in Iraq. I have another one in the Air Force. He was supposed to go to Afghanistan, and they changed his appointment. But it frightens me because of they will not defend our own troops. The way you have to fight a battle is to use more weapons than what they are using against our soldiers. And they're not like them right now.
Well,
The rules of combat.
you know what? This is a good comment. You know, as an employer, as a small businessman, and as a boss, I've always been taught that you position your employees for success. You give them the tools to make sure that they succeed. And we have to do the same thing with our military. There's no difference. Nothing at all.
Get out.
Yes, Perry.
The General Petraeus just issued a new general order about less than a week ago. So hopefully that situation is going to change.
I hope
Changing the rules will be
kill him. You guys, that's what you got.
I think there was somebody here first, and then you.
That's what we're
Or,
gonna do.
right there, go ahead.
Kids.
I put my hand up twice, so I should get to go now.
Okay, go ahead.
I'd kind of like to go back to your poop and manure statement. J.D. Hayworth and John McCain. Who is in more lockstep with your beliefs? And who do you No, it's kind of putting you on